Over the years, Fustastica has opened many coasters. Some have been triumphs, some have been fillers, and some could probably end up in court under the Trade Descriptions Act. But on the eve of Fustastica becoming a big boy park, it's time to spend some serious money and unleash a coaster that not even Sarah could decline the planning permission for. It's time for one final headline coaster aimed at the thrill-seeking market, which showcases Fustastica as the world-class park it's about to become. And it's going to be named after Alan. Wait, who's Alan? Hello you guys, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Fustastica. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride, as always, I do appreciate it. And yes, you can probably tell Chacho has been poorly sick. He's been off work and everything. Like, it proper hit me hard. I don't know what it was. It's not Rona, thankfully. I don't know what it was, but I'm the other side now. I'm back to work. I'm back to recording, but I'm still not very well. But, you know, things must go on, so here we go. Please forgive the fact that I'm probably a bit stuffy. I'm probably a bit grouchy, and I'm going to be a bit scratchy, but it's all good. Here we are then, Fustastica, and we are entering probably the final episodes of the actual series as it stands so far. I've got one more down here that I want to do that sort of inspired me as I was doing the lodges. We've got one back here that we need to deal with the space that we've left. That's going to be the touch-up episode, you know, like a smaller episode where we just do final touches. However, you will have spotted that we have a final coaster coming into this space. And yes, Fustastica needed to have some kind of thrill coaster, something for the adults and teens, some kind of headline coaster. And so we've gone for a Vekoma Bermuda Blitz. Yes, it's absolutely perfect for this space, and it's perfect for the profile of park. And I know, like, we've got Nova, which would be another headline, because they're quite rare, they're quite unique. I wanted to have something else in here that's slightly on a bigger scale. So, it is based on Phonics. I think you say it Phonics, but it might be Furnix. It's because it's got an O with a line through it. So someone that speaks the language, you're going to need to correct me and tell me how to say it. Through this episode, I am going to be calling it Phonics, but I'm fully aware that it might be Furnix. And I'm only using that, by the way, because of how you pronounce Lena from Aqua's surname, Neustrom. So that suggests that it's Furnix, right? Anyway, whatever. Someone tell me how to say it, please. So we've got the station here. It comes into the pre-drop and then into the lift hill. And then it comes into the near vertical drop. I didn't want it to be completely vertical. I just wanted it to be near vertical. And then into the vertical loop that Phonics does. I couldn't do my own version. I just couldn't get to do it, right? I just couldn't picture it. So I ended up tracing Phonics's, and it actually works. So I know it's correct. I know it's exactly as it should be profiling wise. And then we come through into this little turnaround, into a 0G roll. Then we go into a couple of airtime hills, and it starts off with this one here, right? Which is your typical Vekoma profiling style airtime hill that they're doing at the moment, like Siren's Curse and whatever. I've got stuff like this, and I absolutely love it. These are actually really quite fun to pull together. Then it goes into a few airtime hills, and then it does a bit of a Lek bunny hop into the 0G roll over the station. It's very cliche, isn't it? It's it's so cliche, in fact, but they've become a thing. I wanted to avoid doing that, but actually when I was bringing the coaster back this way to end it off, I was like, I might as well just do it. I might as well just send it into a 0G and be done with it. And then we come into this weird airtime hill. I don't even know what they're called, but they ride like an absolute dream, and then it just filters its way around into the final brake run. So we've got the maintenance area that's here, and then we've got the queue line that's going through here. You're probably wondering why the queue line's in two separate colours. That is because when I was putting in all the lodges, I did this little bit here, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could find a way of bringing the path from here back in. So this is what I'm thinking, right? Let me get me gravel. There we go. Gravel, intensity 100. Bring this right down. So I want to actually find a way of bringing the pathway along here underneath the coaster, and then bringing it through here like this. And then this bit here is going to be the plaza area, right? So, or it's going to at least open up into a plaza area. Then it's going to come through this way and then into a second plaza area, like this. So I'm going to need to find a way of connecting up that. Now that means then that we're going to have some kind of connection to the lodges that's from the back of the park. There's two reasons for that, really. Legoland Windsor does that quite nicely, so I kind of want to follow that kind of pattern. And secondly, we've put restaurants and stuff in here, but I've filled the park with guests, and there's just no movement in this area, and it almost is like, well, why did we bother doing it? So I've actually wanted to have some kind of facility for the guests to come in and use this if they want to, and just like fake the idea that the lodges and stuff are in use. So yeah, that's why these are two different colours, because originally the queue line did come around this way, and it took a different path, and I ended up using a different colour just to remember that I've actually changed, that I have actually changed it. So down this way then we do need to have some kind of shops. So this is what I'm thinking in this area. If I get my 1 meter stuff, where are we? 1 meter stuff. We are going to need a shop. I quite like, actually, the look of Friars at Cedar Point now that that's opened. So I think I want to go for something that's similar to that. So maybe something in that kind of area, and then I need to bring the exit path down this way, right? So it's all going to make sense that way, right? So I think I've probably waffled enough for you. I need to make all of this make sense. So I will see you in a minute. Alright guys, you know the drill by now. It's that weird middle part of the episode where it's not quite the middle because not enough has happened, but enough has also happened to call it the middle. Like, that's everything where I'm doing at the moment. I'm not quite ready to talk about all of this because I'm doing the station down here. Now, I want to lean in very, very closely into the medieval stuff. I know we get in the fairy tale pack in the future, but the series will be done by the time we get that, so we need to do our own version, right? So this doesn't look like much at the moment. It's just a real awkward shape of a building. I've deliberately not looked at the Lex station, and I've deliberately not looked at the Phonic station because I know I'm just going to end up copying it, right? But the one thing that I've noticed with all of the reference images that I have looked at is they all have this little overhang here. And in fact, it isn't the first time that I've used it, because if we come over to the entrance area down here, I've actually used it. Do you remember episode 1? Do you remember? I've actually used it here, where we've got this little lip here, we've got this little lip here, and then there's a slight overhang. Now, I don't want the station that I'm doing now to have this overhang as pronounced as this, but it definitely still needs an overhang just so that it's not a flat wall surface. And I actually want to show you how we can do that, right? Because it's actually fairly simple, and this probably isn't news to you, but it's fine. We're going to do it anyway because you guys asked me how I throw stuff together. So I've added it to my favorites because it's actually quite difficult to find this plaster piece, right? But if you align it to the wall and then you take off your angle snap, and then you just pop it in this way, you can then resize it ever so slightly, and then bring it in this way, and then you can just pop this in here, right? Now, everything that I've had so far suggests that these need to be a different color, and it's probably going to be more of a tan color than it is going to be a white color. So we're going to go in with probably a tan color. Actually, I think I want it a little bit more brown than that. That's probably too brown. Hang on, let's go this way. Actually, there. That's the sweet spot, right? And then what we're going to need is some kind of beam work. So if I just turn off my favorites and go to wooden support beams. Actually, it's just support beam, isn't it? There you go. And we go for the square one. I'm going to go. I'm going to need to recolor these, and I'm going to need to tidy it up, right? But I don't just want to use the beam as it is. I'm going to actually then shrink it down so I can use it as some kind of decorative course. So it's going to have a little bit of texture to it. So like that. And I think this then is probably going to need to be a slightly different color. Probably slightly lighter, so it matches this bit here. And then we're going to take the smaller beam, and we're then just going to shrink that down as well, and then we are going to rotate this into place here. Right, so that's roughly how we're then going to do that. But likewise, we're using small beams there. We're going to need bigger beams for this bit here. Now, we know that we can go up to 300. So there you go, 300. And we're going to go this way like this, whilst the autosave does its thing. And then we're going to come in this way, and then this way, and then come down here, right? So that's the next bit. Now these windows, I'm using the Viking windows at the moment, but I think I probably will come back in the future and swap them out for the fairy tale windows, because of course they're going to be resizable and they're the perfect ones. However, for now, all I'm going to do is just going to give these a backing. So let's go like down here, and let's go this way, and then this way, like that. And then I'm going to grab the beam again, if it's going to let me. There we go. And I'm going to pull it this way, like that, and then this way, like that. I'm also going to need a smaller one along like that. Maybe if I then... Sorry, I want one here, right? But I don't think we've got anything small enough. I might actually need to bring in the western one because we've got a 1 meter one of that, right? Or I might just do that, actually. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking for the whole aesthetic of this piece. I think it's going to make sense. I think we're going to need more trim down here. So just like this bit here, like so. Bring it down there, bring it down there, and then bring this down as well, so then it's consistent. And then there you go. That's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. I think that's going to work. So that's my thought process. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see you in a minute. Well, I wasn't entirely convinced that there was much change between the last update and this update, but actually there really is quite a lot that has changed, and this is how this whole thing looks, and it is coming together exactly as I wanted it to, even down to this bit here. You know, the whole cliche thing of throwing the train through an inversion over the station, just like that. Yeah, absolutely loving it. It's exactly how I wanted it to be. Forgive me, by the way, I'm still a bit croaky, I'm still a bit around the edges, so I'm going to try my best with this update. So this is everything that I wanted it to be. We don't look at the back. That's what the back looks like. I think it needs a little bit of work, don't you? But this is how the front is looking, and it's looking medieval. I mean, I've looked at the stations for Lek and for Phonics, and we're different enough for me to go, yeah, okay, I quite like this. I started to put the roof textures and stuff in. I'm going to go through that in a moment because I don't want to do a live play bit for this section, but I do want to show you at least some of this breakdown. These trims, they are just the mythology trims laid on their side. These are the railway sleepers. Shall I actually show you? So if I pull this apart, there you go. So it's locomotive sleeper, just turned on its side. This is the beam scaled up to 300%, and then this is just the mythology trim just on its side. Really simple, really effective, especially when you use it in this whole context where you can see it all in one go. And then the actual, as we're here, the roof itself, it's made up of the shingle, well, not the wooden brackets. I didn't want to go down the route of using like this, but we don't have a half-piece tile roof, right, that we could use that's on grid, or the one that's off grid that you could just make yourself. I did originally think I could use the resort fence that I've used elsewhere, but that's wood. I didn't want it to be wood, I wanted it to be tile, so that's what I've done here. And then all I've done is I've just gone along and just recolored everything this different color of green, and it actually makes it make a whole lot of sense. I quite like it. I'm quite here for it, so, oh, come on. There you go. So, the rest of the area, however, is very green and white. So, I wanted to check how all of this is going to look in context. And that's why I've pulled together this building down here. It's pretty much complete. I just need to do the touching up stuff and the equipment and whatever inside. But I wanted to see what the roof was going to look like with some of the trim, the white and the stonework, just to check that, you know, this wasn't going to be too green and white, and I don't think it is. I think this is going to work out quite nicely. The queue behind it, by the way, is now completely done, however, how I want it. I've decided to have completely consistent fencing. This feels like this would be the first time that Fustastica has put in a big ride. They've got the money, they've got the budget, they've got the time and effort to do it, right? So this is, rather than having that whole split fencing, I've actually used the same fencing, and I quite like it. I've changed the fencing style up slightly. These are on like angles and whatever. Very much Thought Park. Very Thought Park. But I actually just wanted to have a different fence style, especially as we're going down that medieval route. And it kind of needs to look good from down here, right? So, I mean, Yeah, it absolutely works. So this is the plaza area. Now, I know that all my fences and stuff, they're all the wrong height. Everything is going to get moved, just like last week. They're just placeholders until I'm ready to put the actual paths and stuff down. But actually, I quite like it. I like how the pathway goes that way through to Camp Fustastica. And it's very obviously down there. I don't know whether people would accidentally go down there. And I don't quite know whether I'm going to have a gate or whatever down the other side. I haven't quite worked that bit out yet, but I quite like it. And I've just widened the plaza here. It felt like it needed to come into a narrower point here rather than it being already narrow. It just felt, especially coming off of this bit, it just sort of needs a little bit of throughput. So you'll also spot there is a few custom supports. Now the in-game supports for this coaster type are actually pretty decent. I mean, this kind of just passes for what it needs to do. I'm happy with it, but I just needed to put a custom one in here just on the loop, and that's based on phonics, and believe it or not, that is actually copied at the same height. It doesn't look like it, but it is copied at the same height, so it actually works. And then of course the lift hill has just had the same one. This one's this one is ever so slightly close to the track, and I like that. I actually like that. That's completely accidental that I pulled this round this way, and actually I didn't need to edit the track to put that in. I'm not quite done with the custom supporting. You'll see that some bits down here are a little bit jank, so I just need to put some extra supports in here. And I think there's somewhere else, oh yeah, down here, where it's a little bit weird, because it hasn't for some reason generated the supports even though it should have done. Not quite sure why. It's fine, I'll put custom ones in, I'm not mad. So here's the gift shop, and yeah, I like how this is actually. I wanted it to feel, oh by the way, it's Friar Tucks, not happy, no, it's Happy Friars, not Friar Tucks at Cedar Point. And I love that building shape. I absolutely love it. It's perfect for what I want in this space. I've just made it my own ever so slightly. I've swapped around where the actual the corner piece, I don't know what this would be, like the tower piece would be, because on Happy Friars it's this way around. But actually I think this works better the other way around, particularly as it's going to be housing the photo unit at the back here, right? So that just makes sense. This is going to be a gift shop. So inside, I'm starting to decorate it. I'm starting to give it the feel of the rest of the station. But I wanted to do all of this now so that I knew how the area was going to come together. Going to make this an actual gift shop, so it's inside here. I don't know whether I'm going to do the interior because, as I said last week, we've got the gift shop that's waiting for the update. I think I'm going to do the same here, and I think this is going to be that space for it. So let me play it out and see what happens. But when you come back to the final one, this might be empty still, but this isn't going to be empty. I can't wait for on-ride photos in the update that's coming. Oh my god, that's going to be a game changer. I presume they're going to be attached to the info kiosk and not to a new stall. So we're probably going to need to go around and just change out some of the stalls that we've got for info kiosks. But my god, it's going to be a game changer. I really do hope, by the way, that we have the ability to put on-ride photos on, but I hope it's not done in the same way that Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 was, because that was quite literally a resource drain. It used to take a picture every single time the train went around a track, and you ended up with a hard drive full of completely useless on-ride photos of game people that you don't know. So yeah, nice idea, but it just didn't work out. But anyway, that's the ride photo piece, and I'm quite liking it, because then the pathway is going to come around this way. I've just reprofiled this ever so slightly. And I've reprofiled the back stairs as well, just to make it all make sense. I've just put in rock work. I actually didn't want this to be a balcony. I've ended up having it as rock work, partly because I'm too ill to care. I'm too lazy. I just want to go to bed. And partly because actually this probably wouldn't be open and lattice work or woodwork or whatever you want to call it, structural work. It would actually be rock, I think, so I'm okay with that. Haven't done anything inside the station, as you can see. This is my next thing to tackle, but I'm starting to get a feel for it. I think I'm going to have a low ceiling along here, and I think I'm going to swap out the arch for a more non-rounded, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I am so bunged up I can't think. A different doorway, that's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to keep, of course, this bit open, because I have actually perfectly timed this coaster to go through this bit don't know if it's about to, just as, no, I don't think it is, just as this train here comes into the station. I've done that deliberately, so I don't want to waste the opportunity to have that roaring over the top oh, hang on, there we go. So if we wait for this bit, the train comes in, and the train should come, there we go. Yes, that is perfectly timed, and that's deliberate, so I want to make the most of that. But I do need to do some kind of decorating inside the station, because that's really, really quite bland and quite sad. So there you go, guys. That's how the area is looking from the top. I started to do some of the work around here, make it all make sense. Started to think about how it's going to interact with the lodges and stuff over this way. So it's coming together, and I'm liking how this is coming together. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to just finish this off, and I'll see you in a minute. Oh my god, we are done, and I am so here for it. I absolutely love it. These two coasters next to each other, absolute perfection. Like, I am so glad I put this in here, and I think this is my favourite view of the coaster. There's a couple of reasons, right? It does the whole cliche through the station. The station looks actually pretty decent now that it's all kitted out with all of its usual stuff. But this brake run, weirdly sexy. It's a weirdly sexy brake run. It's just like there, positioned, and I love it, right? I'm so here for it. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, by the way. This entire coaster should have been down here. I had a bit of help with some Planet Coaster friends who did a couple of layouts and stuff and helped me with how it was going to fit into this space. But I actually decided to put the SLC there, and I moved my own custom layout to the back here, and I am so here for it. You're gonna have to forgive, by the way, the draw distance of the shingles I've used on the roof. That's a Frontier thing. That's just the way that the game draws the pieces and stuff. But this is how the coaster looks from the top, and actually it fits the park absolutely perfectly. Like, if I come back from here, it blends into the background. That's the whole reason that it's green, except for those bloody white supports. Like, they're proper there, and they're proper garish, and I love it, right? Absolutely love it. This finishes off this area so amazingly. We have a name, by the way. It's Alaric, I think that's how you say it. Alaric. It's Germanic. It means ruler of all, and I chose the name, by the way. It's not supposed to be Germanic. I just chose the name because I was obsessed with having a name of a coaster that's an actual person's name. You know, like how people name their pets real names, like a dog named Dave. I wanted like a coaster, and I originally wanted to call it Steve, because that would be fun. You know, we throw a lot of shade at Steve, don't we? But actually I ended up calling it Alan instead. Alaric. So there you go. But it's quite nice because it's a medieval name, Germanic, and it means ruler of all, so it absolutely makes sense. Right, anyway, we're waffling. We need to open the coaster. There we go. It's official. We are open. And now we can go ahead and talk about it. So we're going to go straight into the station for this one, because I love it, right? Absolutely love it. All of the mess and the clutter and stuff on the outside makes it absolutely worth it. The dormer, I actually just put in randomly. I completely forgot to do it in the original ones, and when I was thinking, there's something, or I was sitting there thinking there was something missing about the station, and I didn't like it. But then as it turns out, it was the dormer, and then it's the bits on the top and stuff, and it just finishes it off absolutely perfectly. And like the trims and whatever, and the fact it's not a straight flush wall, yeah, I am so here for it. We're gonna have to forgive the fact, by the way, this bit clips. That's a game thing, right? I can't change that because of the way that the whole station widths and whatever work. Maybe the devs will change the width of the trains in the future. I don't know what they're gonna do, but it is what it is. But anyway, inside here, love it, right? It's just supposed to be the inside of this house that I've done. So I've used all the same trims, and I've just made it look a little bit Germanic. Well, I suppose it is Germanic, isn't it? It's not supposed to be, but it's medieval. Anyway, then we've just got this bit of the track that just goes over and through, and I love it. And I just put some like lights and steam just to bring it to life a little bit, and just make it all make sense. And then throughout the back here, we've got the exit path, and I'm obsessed with doing the cypress trees like this now. Since Hyperia has given me the permission from real life to do it, I'm so here for just clustering together cypress trees in a line. Like, I absolutely love it. I'm so here for it. And then there's the brake run that I've fallen in love with. It's just, I don't know, it's just there, right? It's just so long and straight, and it slows the train down in the perfect speed, at the perfect ratio. Ah, I love it, right? I just love it. And there's the maintenance area. I don't love the building. It looks really weird because it's really tall and really thin, but that's all it needs to be in this space, and that's all I really wanted it to be. And then I've connected it up to the rest of the park, so it's round the back here. There is the access path down there. Happy days, absolutely love it. So yeah, there's the station one more time, just as the train goes through. Yes, happy days, love it. Right, great from guest view. This would be such an amazing experience to have down here. I don't think guests are going on it because I think I'm still charging. Let me correct that. Yeah, look, there you go. Ta-da! Right. So now we should have guests actually going on it. So there's the gift shop. I didn't want this to be any more than this. I haven't done inside. I am going to wait until the gift shop stuff comes out. I don't know what it looks like yet, by the way. We haven't had the heads up, we haven't had the preview, we haven't had anything. So inside here, I've just done a little bit of decorating. I've kind of finished off the ride photos, but again, I don't know what the ride photo thing's going to look like. And we've got a bit of time to wait for that because that's June's update anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to wait for the gift shop stuff to come through. But ultimately, this is looking how I want it to look. I'm happy. I'm happy with this, and I'm happy with the setup. Right, I'm happy with how all of this comes together as a composition. It actually has a bit of a was it the Da Vinci spiral or whatever? I can't remember what it's called. It kind of has a little bit of that to it. Like you've got this empty space up here, and all of the cluster down this side. The actual ride area itself then, the queue line, I like the queue line, right? I didn't even think to put netting and stuff in. He probably could have done with it, actually. It's certainly something that we would see, but I also don't think it's necessarily needed. Like, it's not overly used. Thorpe Park is an example of where you would use it. But I mean, I'm happy to not have it. It's absolutely fine. And the thing is, right, I've always tried to avoid putting my queues through the rides because of the whole health and safety, collision risk, blah, 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 blah. But actually, as it turns out, you can do that. And Nemesis Inferno, again, gave me permission to do that in real life. So I'll go with it, and I'll stick with it. But I have gone along and tidied up some of the supports. Those missing ones are now all in. Tidied up all of this area around here. Just put some foliage in and stuff. Again, it's supposed to feel relatively new, but also relatively established at the same time. Remember, we're doing it this series over the years. We haven't actually aligned it to a year. So yes, this would be one of their newest coasters, but it might not necessarily be brand new. But it's certainly there. So this plaza area, I quite like this actually. I didn't really know what I was going for when I was putting it in. I did potentially think that maybe we'd get rid of these sheds and there would be a path that goes down that way, but actually I'm all right with it like this. I think it looks all right. I've had to go along, by the way, and unmute and then mute again the screens here. I didn't realise they were that they were still playing mute. Well, I did realise it, but I didn't realise it was so bad. It was such a cacophonous of sound, and that's because this ride does have sound. It does have music. I don't know if you can hear it. Ross Budgeton has made a return to the channel. There's a track that he's done. It's absolutely perfect. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is playing. Unfortunately, when I share the park, I'm not licensed to share his music. But if you do want to go on and find it, it's all free. It's all copyright free. You can go onto his YouTube channel, you can download the tracks, and you can put them in for yourself. You'll know which ones they are because you'll see it. So yeah, that's all there. Like I say, I'm not licensed to distribute his music, so therefore I can't give it to you when you download the park. I love it, right? I just keep looking at it. I mean, as I said, excuse the draw distance and how that messes up, but like just how it sits perfectly and how it sits and interacts with the whole Camptastica as well. Like I've just done the pathway, and I've just done a hut and a gate that would be closed out of let's just say out of season. I don't mean that, out of operating hours, and then maybe the guests could have private access actually through this way rather than having to go through to the entrances. So yeah, I love how that actually all works. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and throw a load of guests at the park, because I think this is now going to be top rated and it will hit the guest cap of 12,000. I'd like to see how the park operates with that many guests in it. So guys, as always, thank you so much for getting to the end of this episode. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't liked or subscribed, you know what to do. Thank you so much. I will see you next week for something that I didn't plan, but it's come to light. So you have to see what that is, aren't you? Come back next week. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.